4 new emotions, the return of Bing Bong, and the truth about the deep dark secret. These and more awaits us in the upcoming Inside Out 3 movie. First, let's remember the introduction of nostalgia. No one expected this emotion to appear, and she was not even on the promotional poster, and we all wonder how she showed up so suddenly. But let me tell you that the appearance of nostalgia goes beyond just a simple cameo. It opens up a significant possibility for Inside Out 3. That's what nostalgia represents, that we should be prepared to see new emotions in Inside Out 3. While at first we all thought the only emotions we'd see were those from the first movie, Inside Out 2 made it clear that many of these emotions can come and go from Riley's mind. If you're still unsure about this, you need to remember what Joyce said. She mentioned that it wasn't time yet for nostalgia to appear, hinting that she would have her place in Inside Out 3. This makes it quite clear that the third part of Inside Out could be the perfect time for the development of nostalgia. And come on, I don't think they created nostalgia just for us to say, "Oh, what a cute grandma." This character absolutely has to play a much bigger role inside Riley's mind. And you may be wondering how the introduction of nostalgia would work in this third installment. Well, let's take a look. The plot could revolve around Riley leaving adolescence behind and now finding herself in college. Probably all the problems she had during her teenage years are in the past, and now she's facing new challenges. And one of the biggest challenges university students face is which career to choose, and dealing with far more responsibilities than they did as teenagers. Of course, this would be the perfect moment for nostalgia to make her presence felt in Riley's thoughts. I think many of us have experienced that in this stage of life. It's when we feel nostalgic for our childhood. At this point, many of us have wished we could go back to being kids, without all those responsibilities and frustrations. But that's not all we'd see from nostalgia, as there's a pretty wild theory suggesting that Riley's imaginary friend could return. Sounds impossible, right? After all, this character ended up in the dump, where memories disappeared from Riley's mind. But you're forgetting something very important, which actually has a lot to do with nostalgia. She has the ability to relive memories, so it's possible that Riley's imaginary friend could come back to life thanks to nostalgia. Additionally, something many of you probably didn't notice is that Joy keeps a figurine of this imaginary friend in her room. Just think about it. If Joy still remembers this pink elephant, I'm sure Riley hasn't completely forgotten about him either. These clues suggest that this theory might be true. Moreover, if Riley becomes more aware of the nostalgia she feels for her childhood, it's highly likely that this seemingly lost memory will resurface. Plus, let's not forget that Inside Out 2 showed us something similar with all those repressed memories. It didn't mean they were completely gone, just that they were hidden deep within Riley's mind. So let's not lose hope and look forward to seeing Riley's imaginary friend make a comeback in the next installment. In fact, I don't think Pixar will waste the great success of the second Inside Out movie. We all know it's even surpassed Toy Story. And would you think Pixar would let this great opportunity pass by? Of course not. In fact, they have plenty of material to work with for this third movie. They still have several emotions they created since the first movie, but didn't get to use. Some were simply left out because they couldn't find a storyline for them, while others were replaced because they changed their minds. With all these emotions they've already created, they could definitely come up with something pretty amazing that connects well with this potential storyline of a college-aged Riley. And the first 4 emotions which were actually planned to be included in Inside Out 2 are guilt. This interesting character has a very suggestive design, as it carries a huge backpack on its back, referencing the heavy burden one feels when experiencing guilt. We didn't get to see this emotion in Inside Out 2 because there simply wasn't an opportunity to include it. So it's still available to appear in a third Inside Out movie. Then we have surprise. For this emotion they couldn't decide whether to make it male or female, but I think Envy did a good job, which is why surprise wasn't added. Then we have suspicion. This was another emotion that was discarded from Inside Out 2, but in my opinion, it'll fit much better in Inside Out 3. This emotion has a design that perfectly describes it, as it looks like a kind of detective, referencing how suspicion is always on alert and very distrustful. During adolescence, we rarely experience this emotion, and it's not until our college years that suspicion starts creeping into our minds. That's because of all the unpleasant experiences we had during adolescence, and I'm sure many of you can relate. Then we have Schadenfreude. The next emotion that could appear in Inside Out 3 has a rather peculiar name, just like Inui. This emotion's name is of German origin, and is called Schadenfreude. This German word doesn't have a literal translation, but it refers to the joy felt when something bad happens to others. It sounds pretty cruel, but I think there could be opportunities in Inside Out 3 for Riley to use this emotion, rather than it just being a decoration. For Inside Out 2, rebellion was also removed. This emotion was only removed to simplify the story, but it was supposed to push Riley to break the rules. It was Jello dressed in black with spiked hair and an aggressive look. A real punk character. The same thing happened with emotions like shame, hope, jealousy, and irritation. But the most anticipated emotion for this third movie is undoubtedly love. Maybe it wasn't added in Inside Out 2 because Riley was still too young to understand it, but this next movie could be the perfect time for Riley to experience love. Many of you may wonder what it will look like, but I think it'll be something similar to Joy, but with pink hair. Let us know in the comments how you think the emotion of love would look like. Also, let's not forget that the end of Inside Out 2 left us with a very open ending. And in fact, I don't think Riley's deep dark secret is what was revealed. It's probably something Riley isn't ready to face yet, and it simply wasn't the right time for her to accept it. Maybe in Inside Out 3, the secret will finally be revealed, but with the more mature and aware Riley. Another thing that makes us think about the plot of Inside Out 3 is that the director has said in his own words that he already had an idea for something he wanted to add in an Inside Out movie, and it's called The Land of Procrastination. In my opinion, this is more than enough for us to figure out what the next Inside Out plot will be like. Let's not forget that Pixar won't be leaving this franchise behind anytime soon. So much so that they're about to finish a new Inside Out series that will be about dreams that originate in Riley's mind, which might be released on Disney Plus soon. Finally, something we'd all love to see again is Pouchy, Bluffy, and Lance. These characters charmed us all and broke the normality of Riley's mind. Who knows, we might even see characters just as crazy as these ones. The only bad news we have is the release date. If it took them 9 years to make the second movie, Inside Out 3 might not be released until 2030. But well, let's hope that the series are as well made as the movies have been. In the meantime, we have upcoming movies like Toy Story 5 or Hopper. So leave your thoughts in the comments about what you think the plot of Inside Out 3 will be and what new emotions we might see in this new installment.